Everybody has everything else complete, launch director. And if we do, we'll be ready to pick up the poll at that time.
All right, mic check 1 2, mic check 1 2. Just checking the live feed here. Bear with me 1 minute. Okay, actually we're live. Going to do an audio check real quick. Well, I'm just gonna trust that the audio is working. I'm gonna dial back my audio a little bit and drop us in on the live feed audio here.
I just want to verify we have no open constraints at this time.
No open constraints. We have a clear.
Okay, so thank you for joining us. Welcome to episode 3. Very special episode. I talk about space a lot.
Go for the poll.
Okay, we're just getting clearances here.
And for all personnel, this is the NTD conducting the Artemis II launch readiness check. Verify ready to resume count and go for launch. OTC.
GTC is go.
STC.
STC is go.
GTC.
C's go.
MCO.
CO's go.
Safety console.
The safety console is go.
LPE.
LPE's go.
RTD.
RTD's go.
Houston flight.
Houston flight is go.
ROC.
ROC is go.
And CDR.
Crew is go.
Copy that. Thank you, Reed. And launch director NTD, our launch team is ready to proceed at this time.
All right, NTD, I copy all. At this time, I'll perform my poll. Attention on the net. This is the launch director performing the final poll for launch. Verify no constraints and go for launch. EGS, Program Chief Engineer.
Artemis Chief Engineers are go.
Copy, thank you. EGS, Chief Safety Officer.
The Artemis CSOs are go.
Copy, thank you. Range weather.
Launch weather is go.
Thank you, LWO. And Artemis MMT Chair.
MMT's go.
Thank you, John. And Integrity Launch Director.
Good here with Charlie PLT.
Thank you, Charlie.
This is Victor. We are going for our families. MS1.
This is Christina. We are going for our teammates.
MS2.
This is Jeremy. We are going for all humanity.
All right, Charlie, your Artemis II crew is go for launch. Full send.
I copy that. Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy. On this historic mission, you take with you the heart of this Artemis team, the daring spirit of the American people and our partners across the globe, and the hopes and dreams of a new generation. Good luck. Godspeed, Artemis II. Let's go. And into the launch director.
Go ahead, launch director.
Yes, sir. You have a go to proceed with countdown.
Copy that. I'll put it in work. CDR, NTD.
Go.
Gear visors and initiate short purge per your EPROC 10.1.1, steps 8 and 9.
10.1.1, 8 and 9 going to work.
Copy. CBSE, NTD. Start and verify recordings of our Orion cameras.
Copy and work.
Thank you. RSR, NTD.
RSR.
All right, perform the booster ignition, SNA arm rotation, enable at this time, please.
RSR in work.
So we witnessed quite a moment there, Steve. I want you to kind of walk us through what we've been hearing. It just...
Okay, so we just got goes from all the teams, and we're on a 10-minute hold here. So we were on a 10-minute hold, just doing a final check. Everyone at NASA, we just heard all the teams check in, and everyone gave a go for launch. And it looks like this mission is finally getting off the ground. So, yeah, truly historic day. I did not know this until about 15 minutes ago, but it'll be the first time mankind has actually seen the dark side of the moon physically. We've seen it in photographs, we've seen it from telescopes, but we've never actually seen the dark side of the moon. So going around the moon is just going to be historic. Obviously, this is one step toward landing on the moon. They have a revised outline for that on the path to Mars. They revised that timeline about a week or two ago. Totally upended this program. So will it be an Artemis 3? I don't know. A lot of people are questioning that now, but because there need to be some redesigns for the spacecraft, and some new components need to be added and jiggled around from other projects. But Artemis 2 is go for launch. So they're going to start that 10-minute countdown here soon. Again, we were on a 10-minute hold just to do final checks. Totally normal thing. 10 minutes, as they told us earlier. For those just dropping in, you probably didn't hear it, but the 10-minute hold, again, regularly scheduled, and they don't have to launch in 10 minutes. All right, so it's that's the first availability. Okay, that's timer hasn't started yet, so I don't have their audio in anymore, so I'm not listening to them. But I'll patch them back in here. But after 10 minutes, that's the first time they can launch, and then they have about a 2-hour window where mankind can go back around the moon, and yeah, hopefully we have a launch here in 10 minutes. As soon as that countdown starts, let me patch them back in here and see what's going on at NASA.
Flocking to the region just to see this with their own eyes. We've met people from all across the world, from Brazil, Costa Rica, London, Canada, all coming here just to see this. You really get a sense, talking to so many people, that this is a slice of humanity that cuts through generations. We met people who have never seen this before, who have hoped for this day for their entire lives, and others, the family they came with, who remember the golden days of Apollo, and this brings them right back to that full circle moment. You really feel, standing here in anticipation, that we are about to witness history, and all these people are in good spirits as we await the final seconds, Tom.
Yeah, it's a very good point, Ryan. Thank you. I want to bring in Gadi Schwartz now. Gadi was so instrumental in explaining one of the concerns they had earlier today, maybe a couple of hours ago, when there was something. Oh, it's a big moment now. It looks like the countdown clock is about to resume. I'm being told by our control room, and there it is. We're less than 10 minutes away from taking off. You can hear cheers all around the Kennedy Space Center. This is incredible. Gadi, I do want to go back to you because they're about to do something very important, which is arm the flight termination system. And earlier in the day, that had caused a little bit of problems. Explain to our viewers exactly what that is.
Okay, so we just saw that 10-minute countdown to start to tick. Looks like this is happening.
Will not be meeting here. So I've got my little model here. This is the SLS, right? And so the flight termination system, basically, not only are we putting humans on the top of this 30-some story rocket and then having a controlled explosion on the bottom, there are also strategically placed bombs throughout this rocket ship that basically are there just in case things go wrong, and the capsule has to eject. It's pulled off by this system up at the top, and the astronauts would be safely pulled away, and then the parachutes would deploy, and then this thing would need to blow up in the sky to basically come down in small enough pieces so that no one here on Earth gets hurt. But that's just some of those systems that you don't even think about when you see that majestic stack sitting there on the launch pad ready to go. But Tom, I just got to say, I mean, we got 8 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock. Up until now, so many of us have gone outside and we've looked up at the moon, that moon that we all share here on Earth, and we've thought in awe, wow, humans have gone up there. And then we think, wait, why have we not gone back there? Like, what's going on? Today, that may end. Today, when we look up at the moon, we may see that beautiful shape and think, we are going there. And that might change forever. This might.
Okay, so I think this guy kind of overstated a little bit what he Yeah, this is like in a watershed moment for sure. Um, for going back to the moon, but we're not actually going to the moon. We're going around it. Um, so looking at Artemis 3 would be that's kind of key, right? But
are going to be watching our coverage, and they're going to be asking, why has it taken more than 50 years after we put an American on the moon?
Well, there are a lot of reasons to that. I mean, the short answer is America decided we'd spend enough. We went there, been there, done that, and we wanted to spend money on domestic programs. And then, oh, by the way, why don't we build out the shuttle program and really try to own low Earth orbit and do science in low Earth orbit? But as we've said, this is the biggest, most powerful rocket NASA has ever built. And when you see this thing light, let me give you the stats here, because this is awe-inspiring. Yeah. It will be 8.8 million pounds of thrust when this thing goes up, 3.5 million pounds of thrust in each of the booster rockets there. And these core engines are equipped with, they've been upgraded to produce 418,000 pounds of thrust. What does that mean? It means it's going to send it at 17,000 miles per hour into a very high orbit around the Earth. They'll spend a day there, and then they really light the fire.
Okay, so they're talking about the rocket design. This sort of fascinates me. I've grown up near Johnson Space Center. You know, I've seen some of these rockets up close and personal, and they're just totally massive. And they're talking about how this is like the largest rocket NASA's ever sent. Well, you know, I've seen the Saturn V, and the Saturn V is just unimaginably big. I mean, there's no adjective that really describes how large it really is. So to imagine something that equates to that, I don't think it's quite as tall as Saturn V, but more powerful, as I said, probably.
Power our cars, all those things. And who knows what we're going to develop, add the technology as.
Okay, so I just piped him in here because he's talking about the key thing. Why I'm so big on space is because of all the technology that we get from NASA in our everyday lives. Just take diapers, for example. Those did not exist in their current form without NASA. NASA actually has, and I did reporting on this. You can Google me on some news articles I did about NASA's commercialization program and patent program. So if you have a good idea and you think it's worthy of a patent and you want to try and make money off it or whatever, or get it developed at least, NASA has an application process you can go through. And as I recall, there's been about like 4,000 successful programs that they've ran or sponsored or whatever, or helped develop, just for the everyday person. And so, like, you know, so much comes from our space research from the ISS now over the past 24 years or so, and just from prior space programs. Fields of medical research have been developed or fostered, pharmaceutical research, you know, all kinds of, you know, plant research, all that benefits from space. And like he said, a key point, which I always like to point out, you don't know what you're going to discover. We have no idea the ramifications that we're going to have or see or witness or live out from this program, from going back to the moon. There's so many possibilities. We can't conceive of everything that's going to happen based on this, how much impact this will have on humanity, the development of humanity and technology, arts and sciences even. It will have an impact of some sort, even if it's just like day-to-day things like diapers, something simple that we don't really think, okay, how this get created? Well, NASA, space. So I think, let's see where we're at on the time. We're down there under 4 minutes here.
Steve, I want you to listen for a second and tell us what we're hearing here.
Helium purge, Steve, just occurred.
Okay. So helium is used to push some of the propellant into the plumbing.
GLS is go for purge sequence.
And so that's a normal.
At what point does if you're a person of faith and you're an astronaut, at what point does the praying start? Is it right before liftoff, or I know this team has been praying for 3 years together.
It's when you tell your family that you're going to fly in space.
From that moment on.
That's when, that's when everything gets serious. Let me be clear about something. These people are not worried. These people are not anxious. They're not stressed. They dealt with the magnitude of this event and the risk that goes with it long ago. And so right now they're focused on the mission. They're glad to be there. It is their life dream coming true. It would be anybody's in this business.
But you mentioned the families, though, Steve, and that should not get lost. I'm looking over at the NASA building. I see friends and family right now looking from the top of the NASA building right there on the balcony. These families have to be holding their breath. I know they are.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I was on the mission after Columbia.
In fact, I think that's what Christina Koch said for our families.
Yeah. And Drew Feustel said the same thing. It's hard on the families. So if you want to look for heroes in this business, don't look to the astronauts. Look at their families. Those are the heroes.
Jeremy Hansen had to have, he said, a very adult conversation with his teenagers about the very distinct possibility he wouldn't come back.
Yeah.
And that they had to go on without him. Obviously, everybody has done everything they can to ensure that they do come back, but they've had to have those conversations with family members, including their teenage kids.
We're about 90 seconds from launch. We're gonna give over the airwaves, if you will, voluntarily to NASA because we want to listen as soon as they start speaking again. Right now, let's listen in.
It's really good news.
One minute.
I don't hear you. There we go. No, just more radio static. So we're waiting for NASA to start the launch countdown procedure at T-minus 10, I believe.
Go for ALS.
Go for ALS.
25.
All right, they're doing the final checks here, and then we'll be off.
20. 15. 10.
GLS is go for core stage engine start.
Integrity, good roll pitch.
Roger, roll pitch. Integrity, AMT high.
NASA Live feed, just to make sure we got the right audio here, which NASA's channel. And no audio from NASA on that channel, so there we go.
Passing 1 minute, approaching max Q.
On, Ponce de Leon.
Stan, we have you loud and clear on Ponce de Leon.
Have you the same?
Communication signal transfer confirmed as Integrity and its crew go supersonic. Approaching 90 seconds into the Artemis II mission. Integrity is 14 miles in altitude, 8 miles downrange, traveling more than 2,600 miles per hour.
That could come from the ground. Now, shortly after commentary, the rocket is on its own. 4 brave explorers ready to ride the most powerful rocket NASA has ever launched. Sound suppression water is flowing.
15.
And here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7. RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Integrity, guidance converged, performance nominal, upper stage RCS ready.
Copy all, Stan.
Integrity, SM priming complete.
SM priming complete.
2 minutes 45 seconds of mission elapsed time into the Artemis II mission. Thrusters on integrity and upper stage confirmed in a ready state ahead of service module fairing separation. 3 minutes into the flight. Integrity 49 miles in altitude, 78 miles downrange, now passing 5,000 miles per hour.
5,000 miles per hour is a little bit fast. We got some fairing separations. Those two solid camera fairings.
Standing by for launch abort system jettison.
So I got jettison launch abort system.
Houston Integrity, good last jettison, great view.
Copy jettison, Team Eco 8+02.
We see the same on board, Stan.
And Houston has you loud and clear on TDRS at the Carmen line.
Outstanding, Stan. We have the same.
Followed the Artemis program for so long.
3 minutes 30 seconds into the flight.
Okay, so it's just so relieving to finally see this happen. I mean, it's been years, almost a decade or decade and a half, maybe in the making for this one. A couple years past Artemis I, the unmanned spacecraft. So, they just again. If my mic was a little bit low, so I don't know if anyone heard, but so they jettisoned about a minute and a half ago. They jettisoned the evac system. So they have an emergency system built onto this now, which the space shuttle never had. So if anything had went wrong within like the first 3 minutes or so, the astronauts had a mechanism they could escape back to Earth. And they said, okay, we don't need that. All the checks are fine. We're going to go through. This acquired a new GPS signal. So now they're just going to check on the systems, make sure everything is up to date, accurate information. Everything's working fine, and it looks to be. So Artemis II. I don't know how long this mission is going to take to go around the moon. It's been so long since we've been there. I don't remember how long that takes. But I imagine here in about maybe 2 days. Let me see. When will Artemis II? Let's just check. When will Artemis II land? Okay, so 10 days. Okay, so it's scheduled to be if it launched on the 1st, we'll return about 10 days later. So April 11th. We'll see everyone back here, I guess, on April 11th, maybe. Definitely, that's going to be key to make sure those astronauts get home safe. In the meantime, Godspeed Artemis, and thank you everyone for turning in. Godspeed Artemis 2, and I'll see everyone else later.